All right, let's talk about the job hunt. If you're feeling tired of the same old routine, you are in the right place. We're about to flip the script and break down a totally different and honestly way more effective approach to landing a job you actually love.
So, does this whole scene sound a little too familiar? You pour hours into crafting the perfect resume, you write a killer cover letter, you hit submit, and then just crickets. It really feels like your application just got sucked into a black hole, right? It's super frustrating. And trust me, almost everyone has been there.
But what if you could just sidestep that black hole entirely? What if there was a way to completely change the dynamic of the whole hiring game? Well, the good news is there is. There is a fundamentally better way to go about this.
To really get to the solution, though, we have to understand the root of the problem. So let's take a look at the fundamental disconnect, the real reason why the traditional approach to job applications just doesn't work most of the time.
And this right here, this lays it all out perfectly. Look at the left side, the applicant's focus. It's all about my skills, my resume. I need a job. But now look at the hiring manager's side. They're thinking about our problems, our needs, and we need a solution. See that? It's like two people having completely different conversations. That's the disconnect.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? A normal application is a me-focused document. But here's the thing. A company isn't hiring to do you a favor. They're hiring to solve a very real problem for the team, for the us. And that's the gap that we need to learn how to bridge. So, how do we bridge that gap? Well, it all starts with a really powerful shift in your mindset. You've got to stop seeing yourself as just an applicant and start thinking of yourself as a problem solver. Seriously, this one change is the key to everything. So what is this problem solver mindset exactly? It's pretty simple, actually. It's about consciously shifting your focus away from what you need, which is a job, to what a company needs, which is a solution to their problem. It's about finding their pain points and showing up as the answer. If you remember one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. This is the mantra. Stop being the person who's asking for a chance. Be the person who shows up already offering a solution. That simple change in approach, it changes the entire dynamic. Okay, so this all sounds great in theory, right? But how does it actually work in the real world? Let's get down to brass tacks and talk about how you can start solving problems for companies you admire, like right now. Here are a few concrete examples just to get your gears turning. You know, if you're a developer, maybe you build a small, useful feature for a company's website. If you're a writer, you could rewrite the copy on a landing page that's kind of confusing. Or if you're an analyst, maybe you find some cool new insights in public data. The possibilities here are, pretty much endless. And you can boil this whole process down into a really simple 3-step formula. First, you identify a real need. You got to become a bit of a detective here. Read customer reviews, search Twitter for complaints, or just use a product yourself and find a point of friction. Second, you create a tangible, small-scale solution. Now, we're not talking about redesigning their entire app here. It could be a simple mock-up, a code snippet, or even just a rewritten paragraph. And third, this is the most important part, you share it proactively. And the key is to do it with humility. You're not emailing them saying, hey, your product is broken, here's how to fix it. No way. You're saying, hey, I'm a huge fan of what you're building, and I had an idea I wanted to explore. I put this together and just thought you might find it interesting. See the difference?
And here's the bottom line. A resume just describes your value. This method, this demonstrates it. You're not just telling them you're a great problem solver, you're literally showing up with a solved problem in your hand. It's proof, not just a promise.
Okay, let's start to wrap this up by looking at how this new approach can totally reframe your job search and honestly unlock opportunities you probably never even knew were there. This final comparison really says it all, doesn't it? The old way is passive. It's almost pleading. Please consider me. The new way is confident. It's proactive, and it's immediately valuable. Now, which one of those two people do you think a busy hiring manager is more excited to hear from? It's a no-brainer. And listen, don't feel like you need to do this 100 times. How many solved problems do you think it takes to get on the right person's radar and completely change your career? Just one. That's it. One thoughtful, well-executed solution is so much more powerful than 1,000 generic resumes. And that brings us to the most important question of all, the one that kicks off this whole new journey. So for a minute, just forget about your resume. Forget about the job boards. And instead, ask yourself this. What problem are you going to solve first?